Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you are watching this on YouTube, this originally aired live on Periscope, and I come on Monday through Friday normally between 11 and 12, but today I'm a little early. So, I'm going to talk with you today about starting your own blog and how I started Love Hip Adventure. I'm going to flip my camera around now so I can talk with you guys better. Hello, welcome. If you are joining me again, I just got off of Periscope a few minutes ago, and I wanted to come back on and just really talk to you guys about something completely different than what I was talking about, which was this clothing. Okay, so how did I start Love Hip Adventure? I am actually getting asked this question a lot. People are saying, they're coming to me and they're like, oh my gosh, you have a blog. How do I start one? And then they fire off like 15 questions. Okay, where do I start my blog? And how do I get a following? And how do I make money? And I'm like, it's overwhelming to me, the number of questions that come at me. And I'm going to tell you something, there's a lot of very overwhelming answers to all of those questions. I feel overwhelmed by the process. I get overwhelmed just thinking about it, and here I am today, and I have a blog, right? I get very overwhelmed just thinking about the process of it, though. So I'm going to just be real honest with you. It's not simple to start a blog. It's not easy. It takes time. It takes work. It takes dedication. It takes passion. Somebody says there's so much information available, and I feel like I have to do it all right now. I'm going to tell you right now, that is the case. There are a lot of people that feel that way. You're overwhelmed with information. So over the weekend, I went to this thing called the Business Boutique. It's put on by Christy Wright. And if you went through this book, this is my book that I brought back from her. She's got outlines for full business plans. And look at all my notes. Oh my goodness. Okay. So it's full business plans and how to start your business and all these things with starting your blog. Because every business needs a blog. I'm sorry. If you're going to be a business, you really need a blog. Because this is how you connect with your readers. So if you're considering working from home or being an entrepreneur of some type, you're going to want to have a website with a blog that posts at least a couple times a week or once a week or something. All right, so some people are like, I want to start a blog, but I don't know where to start. Let me just tell you guys something. I didn't either. And the only reason that I ever had the courage and the ability to start Love Hip Adventure is because I'm a freelance writer. I started picking up jobs on a website called Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. About 2.5 years ago, September, I think, of 2014, I opened these gigs. Now, I follow the Money Saving Mom, Crystal Payne, and they wrote about how to make extra money before Christmas. I was in desperate need financially of coming up with some ways to make money, and I have literally tried everything on the internet. Everything. Now, I don't want to get into scams, so I only do trusted sources. The Money Saving Mom, I trust her. She's always putting out things that you can trust as far as opportunities for earning money. So I've tried everything that they ever sent across that website. Surveys, and I used to write on Yahoo Voices. Never made any money from that, though. I never qualified for any surveys. And just a bunch of other little things that I would always try to do to actually earn money. So I put my gigs out there on Fiverr. In fact, actually, I think before this, I tried to do Odesk.com, which is also another freelance writing service. And I was just too tech dumb to figure it out. I could not figure out how to get assignments, and none of the assignments seemed to be anything that I could write about. I was so confused. But Fiverr really revolutionized my life because this is how I earn the majority of my money. I'm a freelance writer. I get 90% of my clients come through there. I open up a writing gig and I start taking orders. And I've never had to publish that. I've never promoted that business. I've never promoted my freelance writing services, really. There are people that know that this is what I do, but I've never really promoted it. I've never paid promotions. I do have KeelyReason.com. You can always go over to KeelyReason.com. You'll see my my writing samples, and that's my writing website. So that's where I get where I send people who want to have samples of projects that I've worked on. So for about a year straight, I worked for other people. And people would ask me to write for them. I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, none. I did not know how to write a blog post. I did not know how to write for the internet. And just over the year, I was writing for all of these people. And like my clients kept coming to me and saying to me, I want you to do it like this. This is what we are being taught right now is the best way to write a post. And I actually went to work for this one company that brought in some SEO guys that revolutionized the way that I write. It was hard. It was difficult to get into this way of writing. And you can actually figure this out on your own if you go to this thing called Hemingway.com. There is this little app. It says the Hemingway app. I don't know. But if you go to Hemingway.com, there comes up this thing that will show you when you put your writing into it, it'll tell you what you need to do different. And so I was writing paragraphs that were too long, and I didn't have enough headers, and I didn't know how to write. But over the course of the first year of my freelance writing, I was just introduced to this whole world of the internet. Just a whole world of websites. And yes, Hemingway, just like that. Just like the author, Hemingway. And I can put a link to this because there might be more than just www.hemingway.com. There might be something else, but I feel like it's just Hemingway.com that pulls you up to this thing. And it will show you when you have sentences that are too long, because you need to have shorter sentences and shorter paragraphs. You shouldn't be writing more than three sentences to a paragraph. This is so different than what I learned in college. But it's really helpful because readers do a lot of skimming, and with the headers, Google gives preference to all this. So there's this whole world of SEO that I never heard of. There was this whole world of something called Copyscape that I never heard of. It's plagiarism. They call it Copyscape. And so you can't be copying and pasting content from other places. Somebody says, this is so helpful. I set up a Fiverr account but got stuck trying to post gigs. Well, if you, honest mommyhood, I think that's who you are, if you want to send me a message, Keely@lovehopeadventure.com, I'll help you. Because I think the setting up process is a little different now. Because, see, now you can do packages. You have your basic package, and then you have like a mid package and a other package. So when I set up originally, it was a little bit different. But you actually do not have to have more than your basic package. You don't have to do those other two. I chose to do that recently because they're just now rolling it out, and I think they give preference to those that do. But I used to accept, so many orders a week from Fiverr. It was overwhelming to me at first. So I just had to keep changing things. So I can do a whole scope on how I've been successful on Fiverr. But writing on Fiverr is what has given me what I need to start my website. So what I did was I was like, my husband has always been after me to start a blog. And he's like, you need to start a blog. And I'm like, I'm tech dumb. I am so stupid with technology. I can't even, right now, my phone has some different noises that it makes for certain apps and things. And I'm like, I don't even like these noises, but I cannot figure out how to change it. However, I work on the internet now. I work on the web. I have created my own website. If you go to lovehopeadventure.com, everything over there, I've done it. I've built that website from the ground up. If you go to KeelyReason.com, same thing. I am the sextalklady.com. That's my other website. Same thing. Which that one is actually not very good. I haven't put any time into it, but it's been a lot of work. And what you have to do when you want to start a blog is you just have to tackle one thing. Don't think about a follower. That's where I'm scared. I set up WordPress, but I'm scared of it. There's this little thing called YouTube. And YouTube is amazing. So you pick a theme for your WordPress, and then you go search out the name of that theme on YouTube and see if anybody has any videos that will show you how to do what you want to do. And it is hard. I'm not going to lie. I have not paid web developers to help me, but I do work for website developers because I'm a freelance writer. And on a rare occasion, I come across a problem that I just can't figure out. And when I do, I ask one of these web developer people, hey, can we swap off work? I'll write something for you if you will go figure out this issue with my website. And I've done that probably about 3 times over the course of the last 2 years or whatever it's been since I started the website. Here's what you have to do though. Pick one thing. Just pick one thing and do it. Say, right now, I am going to figure out how to set up a blog. Now, a simple way, a free way to set up your blog is to go to blogspot.com. I will tell you why I chose not to go to blogspot.com. Like, I didn't do Blogger. I have a few bloggers, all right? I have a couple of bloggers. I did that so that I could, like, generate traffic to my main Love Hope Adventure website, so I had a reason for that. So I actually have, like, 4 or 5 bloggers. What are they? You had me at recipe.com. You had me at recipes.blogspot.com probably is one of them. I don't know. So it did work, and I don't really post over there a whole lot anymore, but it was like sort of a way that I could share my work, and I was getting views from it, but I quit putting time into that. So you've got to figure out what is going to help me be motivated so that I don't get bogged down. I need to just do one thing at a time. So first of all, focus on just getting your blog set up. If you're not sure you're going to stick with this whole blogging thing, then just go to Blogger. Set it up. You can set it up in like an hour probably. You don't even have to get all fancy with the customization. And then just start posting over there. Just start writing over there and see what happens. If it starts taking off, then yeah, you're going to have to move to WordPress. If you've already got a domain in WordPress, the reason I started with that instead of Blogger is because I really wanted to make something of it, and I had been writing for other people for a year, so I was pretty positive that given enough time that I would turn it into something bigger, and I did not want to waste my time with Blogspot. I don't know where you are, though. I don't know what you're doing. But if you are really, truly struggling with WordPress, or you're struggling with whatever, call your domain hosting. So I use GoDaddy. I know a lot of people hate GoDaddy because I've never seen GoDaddy commercials, but apparently they're not good commercials, so a lot of people don't want to use them. I've never had a problem with their service department, though. And so when I am feeling super dumb, I don't know what Google Domains is, but if they've got a tech number, then call it. So because I pay for my services through GoDaddy, and I think if you had Bluehost or some other places like that, it would probably be the same thing. You call them and say, I can't figure out how to do this thing. They're not going to be able to help you with your theme, but if you are struggling to get your WordPress just basics set up, they can help you with some of your questions. And then there's this thing called YouTube, and you just look at YouTube, and people will have videos, and they will show you. So this is what I've had to do. I watch the video on my phone, and then I just do the thing on my computer so that I can kind of see the two together. So just, guys, take it one step at a time. Don't think about followers. Don't worry about followers. You don't have no way to get followers because you don't have a blog together. So you've got to just prioritize one thing at a time. Just do one thing. Set a goal. I'm just going to get this website going. I'm just going to have a website so that when I want to write a post, I've got somewhere to put it. Once you get your website straight, and I'm going to tell you, it was like a solid week of me just like tearing my hair out, frustrated to no end, trying to get my WordPress set up and get my theme done and find the perfect theme. That was my problem. And if you don't even know what I'm talking about with a theme, this is the design of your website. There are lots of free themes. I have a free theme. And over the course of the last couple of years, I have worked and made that theme do what I wanted it to do. It is called Point, P-O-I-N-T. The reason I went with Point is that I wanted all of my blog posts to be categorized. And so if you click the love post, the love tab on my website, all of the blogs that I have labeled as love show up in the feed. If you click the hope one, it categorizes only the ones that I have said are hope. If you do Keely's Kitchen, all of my recipes are going to come up. So Point allows you to do that. It just organizes it for you automatically. You determine what your categories are going to be. So I have love, hope, adventure, I don't even know, DIY crafting or something. I don't know what I have up there. And when I write a blog post, there's this little thing in the side that says, decide where you want this to be categorized. So I'm going to select DIY. And I might also, it might be 2 categories. So I might want it to show up under the DIY tab, and I might want it to show up under the Keely's Kitchen tab at the same time. So I just click both. This is why I went with Point. I think it's a highly customizable theme. I don't like all of the changes the Point has made. So I actually need to get on the phone with them and stuff. But here's the thing. Start with just one thing. Don't be getting so down the road. How am I going to make money from this thing? How am I going to attract followers? Just get it there. Just get it started. I did not have social media for my website for probably 7 or 8 months after I started the blog. I did not open up social media accounts for the website until, I had been writing over there for probably about 7 or 8 months. You know why? It was too overwhelming. And I have done social media posting for some of my clients, but it was just too overwhelming for me to consider doing that. And so after I felt that I got the stuff down for my blog, I have a blog, it's in place, I like the way it looks, and I am blogging. I'm actually posting 2 to 3 times a week. Now I'm going to start my social media. So what did I do? I went with the one I was strongest with. I went with Facebook because I'm strongest with Facebook. I was not the best on Twitter, but then I went to Twitter next. And then I have an Instagram, but I'm not really trying to, I don't use it all that much, but I do have it. And at some point when I have the time, maybe I'll invest more time in Instagram, and I have a Pinterest. And I already owned a Pinterest. So I have to take it one thing at a time. And I've been doing this now. I've had Love, Hope, Adventure has been up and running for 1.5 years. And it's I have to decide, I'm going to do, my focus has to go on this thing now. So everyone talks about how email is the big thing. Well, I'm going to tell you, I put off the email until I really got down some other aspects of my blog. And then I started focusing my time and energy onto email. And it's working. I'm growing the email. And then I have spent time working on free printables to give to people who sign up for my newsletter. That took time. When I started my newsletter, though, guys, I didn't have a free printable. I just had a newsletter. And then everybody starts talking about, we got to have these free printables. I took my time. Somebody says, love getting my newsletters. And I didn't send out my newsletter on Monday. This is the second Monday this month that I have been away and have been too busy to get it scheduled. Crazy, right? But when I first started my newsletters, do you know what I did? It was just an RSS feed of what I posted over the week. But then I started reading this stuff. You need to be more personal with your email newsletters. So I waited until I knew I could really focus my time and energy on writing a decent email newsletter. I'm going to give you guys a little secret, though. I write for a lot of clients. And I used to write for a website called ShapeMindSoul.com. And they've recently just had to cut all production on that website. But because I got to write there under my own name, I got to write about a lot of topics that are important to me. And so I wrote all of these articles about relationships and about marriage and everything else. And because I can't take that content that I wrote over there because it's still live and put it on my website, because that would penalize my website, I can take that content and I can put it in my email newsletter. So I kind of cheat sometimes on the email newsletters because I really can I've been writing for all these other people. And I'm going to tell you something. I never run out of inspiration of what to write about because I'm constantly writing for other people. And so somebody says, I want you to write a blog about this. And it gets me thinking, maybe I should write. And as I'm in that writing process, I think I need to write something like this on Love, Hope, Adventure. I need to write about this. I need to do a scope about this. So I feel really inspired because I write for other people. Is that what you need to do? I don't know. I really can't tell you. You might feel super overwhelmed trying to keep a freelance writing business going down while doing your own blog. I sometimes feel overwhelmed with it. But at the end of the day, I'll just have to let the blog suffer so that I can get the work out for my people. But I want to write for others and for myself. So that's the decision I've made. I like it. And sometimes that means the blog has to suffer a little bit. My advice to you, though, is to just pick one part of the process and stop worrying about all the other things. Just start with one part of the process. Say, this week, I am going to decide what to call my website. Do you know how long it took me to come up with lovehopeadventure.com? I mean, I was like, I'm going to have one name. Just one. I'm not going to rename my blog later on. This is it. Love, Hope, Adventure. That's it. Pick the name. Take the time. Figure it out. Don't think, what am I going to blog about? How am I going to get the WordPress to go? How am I going to make this website? Just pick one thing. You have to start somewhere. You have to start with a name, okay? Until you have a name for your website, you are done. Raising Musicians took like 6 months of thinking about it. You've got a name. Don't you even worry about what it takes. Like, obviously, okay, so the first thing can't be a name. You do have to have an idea of what you want to blog about so that you can try and, optimize your name. I wanted to blog about marriage. It took me a long time to figure out how to blog about marriage, though. That's the focus that I wanted to go with. And that was probably like a 5-year process. Didn't happen overnight. And once you know what you want to talk about, I'm not saying you have to have it honed in on, all right? I knew I generally wanted to talk about marriage. I wanted to talk about having deeper relationships, specifically in marriage, but I wanted to leave it open so that I could talk about deepening relationships with my children and friends and whatever else. I'm a relationship person. I want to talk about relationships. I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about marriage. But picking your name is important because then you have to go and see if that URL is available. You don't have to buy that URL from the same people that host your company, that host your website, though. So you need to go to someplace like Bluehost, GoDaddy, whoever. Just say, I want to buy my web URL. I got, as an introductory package from GoDaddy, I got my URL free for the first year. I didn't have to pay for the first year for that because you have to buy the URL name. And my hosting for the first year was only $15 because it was introductory. Now it's gone up. I mean, you pay like a year, you pay like $15 to keep your name. And then you pay, I don't know, right now I might be paying like $85, $90 or something like that for the year for the hosting. I'm sure it will go up, though, at some point, because as my website grows, they're going to make me get on different servers, and I'll have to pay more. And will I stay with GoDaddy forever? I don't know, but this is who I'm with right now, and I'm not even going to worry about it. We'll cross those bridges when we get there, right? So you've got to have a name. And then you have to have a website. And it can be a basic website. You don't have to customize everything. You can just select a theme. This is something you need to know about WordPress themes, and you can go find a lot of free ones. This is what you need to type into the search. Free, responsive WordPress themes. You want that word responsive, though, in your search, though, because responsive means when somebody looks at it on their cell phone, it has converted to a smaller screen size. This might not make a lot of sense to you if you're not very tech, whatever, like if you don't know much about technology, but you just need to know responsive website themes is what you want. Because when someone's looking at it on a computer, there has to be different coding for it to go to an iPad and different coding for it to go to a cell phone. So, free responsive WordPress themes. The other thing you need to know about these themes is that they are highly customizable, and when you are looking at them in a post, they are going to show you the website completely tricked out. It's going to have all that customization done, and when you install it on yours, you're going to feel highly disappointed because it doesn't have all of those things. So how do you get all of that stuff? Go to YouTube. Search on YouTube the name of the theme you chose and see what kind of videos it brings up. So I'll pick out a theme, like when I've done new websites, because I've built websites for some other people. Sometimes I'll be like, shoot, I can't figure out how to customize this. Some themes are easier to navigate than others. So I've had to, over time, it's taken a lot of time. It's taken a lot of frustration. It's taken a lot of learning and asking questions. Don't think this is going to happen overnight. It won't. All right? It's not going to, unless you just go pay somebody and you say to someone, website developers are going to charge you at least $2,000, at least, to build a website for you. So if you have the money, then invest in a website developer to do it for you. If you don't have the money, then just resign yourself to the fact this is going to take time. And be okay with that, because instead of spending $2,000 or $5,000 or whatever that website developer is going to charge you, think of it like this. I spent 20 hours building my website instead of paying someone $2,000. So how much was my time worth? It was worth a lot. So just kind of think of it like that. When you're getting really frustrated and bogged down in all of this, just remember there are people out there that you can pay to do it. But if you don't have the money, you're going to have to do it like that. And then once you have a website together, don't worry about it being perfect. You can change the way it looks later on. You can change your theme. You can change your headers. You can do whatever. All right. So I didn't even have header images when I first got started. I had nothing on my sidebar. I had nothing. I just had a basic blog. Then you need to start putting content on it. Don't worry about sharing it until you've got a little bit of content on there. Because here's why. If you have something that's really good, that someone really loves, and they go to your website and you've got one post on it, just start putting some content on your website. Don't worry about the social media pages right away. What are you going to share? You have one post on your website, right? Don't try and take it public until you've got some actual posts on the site. So just spend a few months investing and building content on your website. Then start adding those other things on your sidebars. You go get your Google ads. Sign up for Google AdSense. Get the Google ads. You don't know how to do it? Fine. Look at YouTube. They'll show you where to put that coding. How do I install Google ads on my page? So just take it one thing at a time. And so often, I think we are just bombarded with information. We're so overwhelmed, and we're like, oh my gosh, I don't know where to go. When I start telling people, because they're like, how did you start your blog? I think they feel like it's going to be this super, one, easy answer, and two, that it's going to take me 5 minutes to explain it. I have been building Love, Hope, Adventure for a solid, I think it's been 1.5 years. It could be 2 years. And I'm not even done. I'm not even arrived. I am still building that website. I am still making changes. I am still messing around with the theme, and I'm still adding new things onto my plate and trying new stuff. So don't think you're going to get it together right now. And don't think about all those other things you have to do. Just one thing at a time. Don't worry about what you're going to write about until you got a place to put it. And then start putting it on there. Don't worry about a following until you have something that they can follow. That's kind of what I wanted to share with you about the blogging. If you have any other questions about it, though, and you're like, okay, I'm stuck on this one thing. Help me do this one thing. Always email me, Keely@lovehopeadventure.com. Just email me. Look, guys, I didn't even have that email address until about a month ago. It used to be lovehopeadventure.com@gmail.com because I couldn't figure out how to make my name and my domain. Like, I couldn't get Keely@lovehopeadventure figured out. I actually had to get my husband to help me on that. I didn't know how to do it. And so I knew how to set up a Gmail. So I set up lovehopeadventure.com@gmail.com so that I could get away from just my email address I have had since I was 16. Okay? I have had one email address my entire life, or 13 probably, whenever the internet actually came out and I got a computer. I was probably like 14 or something. I don't even remember. And I was like, well, this is unprofessional, so I should probably try to get something that's not unprofessional. And so here we have it. Guys, this is how my website's been built. It's been built over time. I just target one thing. Right now, I'm going to do this one thing. All right? This is it. We're going to focus on this. And once I get it down, once I got a good rhythm on it, then I add something else. Because everything you do on your website, it's going to take a lot of time to figure it out. It is. I'm not even going to lie to you and say it came together overnight. It certainly didn't. It has been forever. And I have been very frustrated with so many things. I look at my computer and I get it and I shake it. Why won't you do what I want you to do? That's me. So I don't know. I think about every blogger that I talk to who, none of us had any money when we got started, and we all have beat our heads against our computers trying to make this stuff work. And once you have enough money and you're like, yay, my website's making all kinds of money, I'm going to pay someone to do that other stuff because it doesn't get easier. But guys, it is important that you learn how to do it for this reason. You need to know how your website works instead of just passing it off completely to a website developer for a couple of reasons. One, not all website developers are trustworthy. Okay? They're just not. I have some that I work with that I trust, but I have seen a lot of people get messed up in this business. They pay a ton of money to a website developer, and then they end up with something they don't like, and then the developer just doesn't work with them or help them. So I've got a couple people that I can recommend, but in general, I always cringe when people are like, yeah, I'm going to get a web guy. What is that web guy going to do for them? I don't know. So you need to know some stuff. You need to know how to do some of your basic stuff, or you will pay a lot. Web developers' time is worth a lot of money for good reasons. So it is good for you to start, and it's good for you to fight it out and to be frustrated and to get angry and to have to just be like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. It is really beneficial to figure things out on your own. And then it's okay to ask for that help later on. Okay, I just cannot figure this out. So it's okay to figure out workarounds until you can afford to pay someone to help figure some things out for you. But it doesn't have to be perfect. That's what I want you to know. And you don't have to release a big, beautiful website. People care about your heart. They care about what you have to say. They care about connecting with you. If you've got stories that they care about, they don't give a crap what your website looks like, really. Honestly, it's like, oh, I've got a puke green border. They don't care. It's like, look, it's something from the 70s happened on my page. I don't know what happened, but people don't care. They just care about your message. So don't think it has to be perfect. Don't think it has to be fully formulated. Don't think I have to have it all right here, right now. Just take it one step at a time. Don't even worry about the rest of that stuff. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this well. And then I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to do that well. All right? So, guys, that's my encouragement for you today. Always email me if you have questions. And I did this scope because someone sent me an Instagram message, I think yesterday. You know who you are. And I didn't see you on the scope today, so I hope you're watching the replay, but I will send you a message. If you want me to answer your questions, just ask me, and I'll be glad to answer them. And I will not even pretend to know what I'm doing when it comes to the whole website thing, all right? We are all just still figuring this thing out, and this is good for you guys because the internet changes. It just does. Marketing changes. What people were doing, like Crystal, what she was doing for Money Saving Mom 10 years ago or whatever when she started writing, man, it's so different now. It is so different now. And for you to stay relevant in the blog world, you are going to have to change. So never think, I'm going to set it and forget it. It's just not going to be the case. You will have to always be learning, and always be doing, and always be taking it one step at a time. So guys, thanks so much for joining me today. If you want to find out what I've been blogging about, go to lovehopeadventure.com. Hopefully I will update it soon because I think it's Friday or Saturday is the last time I blogged. So I will talk with you guys tomorrow.